Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. When it comes to Warzone, there are obviously a ton of fantastic meta options, and typically those main meta choices have super competitive TTKs, if not the best TTKs in the game. There are also, though, some more so niche weapons, maybe some underrated or off-meta weapons that have insane TTK stats, but maybe aren't the most practical elsewhere with their mobility or their control or whatever the case is. But if you wanted to focus specifically just on time to kill and look at the fastest TTK options, well, you're in luck, because that's what we're doing here today, breaking down the top 5 best TTK loadouts here after the past few meta updates, since we haven't done this in some time. And we're starting first with one that I think some players really enjoy, and some players think the elements of it are a little bit clunky. The AS Val. This thing's TTK is insane. It is so good. All the TTK stats here are via true game data, so they are tried, true, and tested. Link to the site's always down in the description below on videos like this. But at 45 meters, prime like mid-range, heading into that long range, a 795 millisecond TTK. That's really good. One of the best in the game at that range. Now, the Val unfortunately has some damage per mag issues because its magazine capacity is not great, and it's a little bit heavier or clunky for a rifle that really feels like it should be best in the mid-range. So it's a bit of an awkward feeling rifle, but if you're just simply looking to kill quick, it's a great choice there. I also love the fact that we do have some 2-for-1s here with some attachments. For instance, the barrels are integrated suppressors, so it's a suppressor, you're staying off the map, and you get the benefits of a barrel. In this case, we go for reinforced with velocity and damage range. We're up to a 62 meter effective damage range, which is crazy, and over 1,000 velocity, so that hit scan range is going to be feeling fantastic. Vertical foregrip for some better horizontal control makes the weapon a whole lot more predictable there. Extended 3 is only 55. The max extended mag is 55, and on an 896 RPM, that just means, like I said, the damage per mag can be a little bit iffy at times. It'll still work, and obviously that's the max, so you're going to have to live with it, but a little bit awkward there. I do like the balanced stock. As I mentioned, this thing's speed is a little bit awkward at times. It's a little bit clunky, so getting some better strafe, some better general movement is a pretty big advantage there. And then lastly, recoil springs just for even more better control, just to make the weapon easier to use across the board with horizontal and vertical benefits there. So this thing, bit of a different rifle, but man, does it melt. Following that, we've actually got an MW3 option, the SVA 545. This thing is like prime for the mid-range, truly. Over range, it drops off some, and that's why we use so many attachments to extend that range so that drop off can be prevented a little bit more. But at 36 meters, great mid-range, a 713 millisecond TTK. And this thing is relatively easy to use, lower recoil, very predictable pattern there, decently aggressive for a rifle too, so it's a fun option for sure. Here for the scope, it's really a matter of preference. If you like the 2 times more, the NIDAR like I use, a slate, whatever the case is, go for the optic you are the most comfortable with, of course. Spirit Fire Suppressor extends out that damage range in that velocity. So does the precision barrel on here as well. And then personally, I use high grain rounds too, because that also helps out that range in that velocity. So we're over a 50 meter effective damage range. That better TTK extends out even further, and over 1,000 velocity too. So we're covered there. If you do need some more control, you could probably drop high grain and put on a vertical underbarrel just for better recoil outright, and that would never be a bad choice there. Lastly, I do go for the 60 round mag. The max extended mag here works just fine for duos, trios, quads. Solos is a given, of course, but yeah, this thing works. Bit of a different choice because obviously it's not a BO6 option, but it does melt. And by the way, as we are breaking down all the weapons and setups here today, if you enjoy the video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. Much love to everyone who takes the time to do so. And if you happen to be new to the channel, or maybe you have not subscribed yet, every single day I got you covered with everything you need to know for COD, whether it's the latest news and updates, meta breakdowns like this, it's all right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and help get us one step closer to 1 million subscribers. Next up here, another MW3 choice, the MCW 6.8. Pretty much all of last year, this was a top tier choice for TTK. It's just a bit of a higher skill gap. Since it's semi-auto, to achieve the fastest TTK, obviously you have to be spamming it essentially at its max fire rate and staying on target, which a lot of players just don't have the ability to do. The best players can, and if you can succeed with this thing, it's incredibly rewarding. At 50 meters, prime long range, a 739 millisecond TTK. Incredibly fast for that range, and one of the best, not just in its weapon category, but truly in the entire game. Because we are focused a bit more on the longer range, I go for the 2.5 times Eagle Eye in this case. Spirit Fire Suppressor, yet again helping out that range and that velocity. Crown 30 Barrel also helps out with range and velocity, but then also idle sway, stability, and gun kick control too. So that is a huge advantage on a weapon like this. I also go for the Spire Point rounds because these are still doing crazy things for your velocity. Yes, that does say 1,700 on your velocity, 1,732. Insanely overkill, but why not? right? We also get a 50-meter effective damage range there too, so we're chilling. 60-round extended mag, semi-auto, you spam it at your own rate. You know exactly how quick you're going to burn through 60 rounds. That's more than enough for all squad sizes. So higher skill gap, but also insanely rewarding and quite frankly a ton of fun to use. This thing's hit scan basically across the map, no matter what. It's kind of absurd. Next up, we got sort of a mainstay in the meta here, the Kompakt. This thing just melts up close. It's one of the best close range guns in the entire game. It's the best SMG for TTK at 12 meters, so right in that close range towards the end of its first damage range. A 605 millisecond TTK. This thing spews bullets, and if you're putting them into enemies, they're going to drop insanely fast. Now, the problem again, much like the AS Val here, is there's drawbacks for the crazy fast TTK. The damage per mag is not great. You really got to value your accuracy here, which is why I go for the compensator outright to help out with the vertical control, then the Ranger foregrip to help out with the horizontal control, but also for some better sprinting movement speed to keep us faster as well. Extended 3. That's going to be 60 with a 1091 RPM. Even sometimes that feels like it's not enough, which is kind of crazy. But luckily, if you are landing shots at this thing, you're going to have time to reload because the enemies won't exist anymore, right? You're going to Thanos snap them out of existence. We got the ergonomic rear grip on here for a better slide to fire speed and ADS, so it's just even more aggressive. Then of course recoil springs for even more control vertically and horizontally, so the weapon again just becomes a lot easier to use. Ton of fun as an SMG, been one of my main go-tos here in this past half season or so, and it just so happens to fry. Hey everyone, real quick, just want to give a shout out to my friends over at G Fuel. If you are looking to stay hydrated, energized, or focused, G Fuel is the #1 place to go. They've got so many different flavors depending on what you're looking for. Their hydration tubs and their brand new hydration sticks are phenomenal. So if you're just looking to sip on something, stay hydrated throughout the day, that's a great choice. They've also got their energy tubs and their cans as well. If you're looking to stay focused and energized, whether you're gaming, doing anything else, they've got you covered there as well. If you ever want to grab anything at all from the G Fuel sites, be sure to throw in code Immortal at checkout, and that'll save you some cash. Link for that will be down in the description below if you're interested. And then to close things out, yes, we've got an MW2 option, the Lachmann Shroud with the aftermarket part on it, the Jack Decimator kit. This ends up at 20 meters, having a 678 millisecond TTK, insanely fast for that range. Most subs drop off a cliff by that point. There are very few that can actually compete there, and this happens to be one of the quickest killing ones from that selection. Right now, like I said, the most important part of the setup is this Jack Decimator kit. This turns it into a fully auto MP5 essentially, and ups that fire rate and that TTK a ton, obviously changing it from being a burst SMG. On here, I also got the mobile stock. It's not going to do much, but it does help out with some ADS speed. It being an MW2 gun, unfortunately, means that a lot of the attachments here are not that great. 50 round extended mag though, that's going to work fine for all squad sizes, sort of a no-brainer choice there. BW4 hand stop is more based around mobility, giving you a faster ADS and sprint to fire, which are not particularly fast on this option. However, if you wanted more control, you could switch over to any of the vertical underbarrels, basically. Merc, lock grip, precision, doesn't matter, they're all doing the same thing there with the control. Just a matter of what you care about more, control or mobility here. Then lastly, the grapple barrel. This is going to be an integrated suppressor as well, so we're staying off the radar. We get some better range of velocity and a little bit of control too, so that's you know, a win and a win in that regard. So that's cool there. But yeah, an interesting selection when it comes to the best TTK choices. Obviously this is its own specific niche. It's not necessarily best overall, but if you're simply looking to knock enemies quickly, these are some of the best choices in the game. That's going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it, and if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.